Hey everybody, live from Hastings, Minnesota. It's Tom Bullington with Coldwell Banker Realty. Hope you're doing great. It's a Friday afternoon. It's kind of warm. It's like 51 degrees out here. So I thought I would take you on a walk along the Mississippi River. Yeah, right back there, the Mississippi River. Did you know the Mississippi River is a national park? Yes, it is, right here in Hastings, Minnesota. And we'll talk more about that bridge when we get to it down there. But right now I'm going to flip around the camera and take you for a walk today. Commentary along the way as well. I'll get stared at because I'm talking to myself, but you and I know we're talking to each other here. Along the way, if you have comments, questions about Hastings or real estate in the local area, the market, interest rates, things like that, please put the comments below and I will get back to you. Also, my phone number is 651-402-6356. My website's tombullingtonhomes.com. But enough of that. Let's get on with the tour. This is a railway bridge in Hastings. This is the railway that will carry Amtrak through Hastings. We have a small depot over there, which you can't really get passenger train here yet. But it is, Amtrak will come through Hastings on its way back from Chicago to St. Paul, and then from St. Paul obviously eastward into Chicago and points east from there. Ultimately, it's called the Empire Builder. It will go to all the way to Seattle. We've taken it on the trip from St. Paul Union Station up in St. Paul to downtown Seattle. It's a lot of fun. It takes about a day and a half, 2 days. You go through the northern parts of Montana, and then through the Dakotas, and then into Washington State from there, cross over into Idaho in the middle of the night. So this is the railway bridge. We'll talk about bridges as we get down closer to the main Hastings bridge. Hastings is a bridge town, and we do have some history with bridges, but I will talk about that later. The Hastings trail system, very well known. There is a huge trail system continuing to expand, both with the city of Hastings and Dakota County. It is a well-known bicycle trail that you can get from parks and other destinations from Hastings from here. So looking at this, if you're ever down here by the Mississippi National River and Recreation Area, this is it. Hastings is a town of about 23,000 people, by the way. We're about 25 minutes drive from downtown St. Paul, which is our capital here in Minnesota. If you're wondering, if you're new to Minnesota or if you've never been here, we'll try to give you some Hastings and some Minnesota history along the way. But this is the river. This is the Mighty Miss, the Old Muddy, the Mississippi River, the biggest river in North America, certainly, one of the biggest in the world. There's historical markers along the way. You can talk about, learn about the Native Americans that were here before the European settlers came in. Europeans settled here in the 1840s, 1850s. Hastings was created. It's one of the oldest cities in Minnesota. I think it's the third oldest city in Minnesota because it's right on the Mississippi River here. So we will keep on going. This whole path here was redone about, I want to say about 10 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer. This was part of the master plan for the city of Hastings. This is called the Riverfront Renaissance, and we'll get into some of the history of that. But it was obviously a very extensive and expensive project when it was done. A little bit of the history of Hastings here. The arrival of immigrants from Europe, primarily, as you can imagine, North America and the upper Midwest, Germany, Ireland, and Sweden. And then a few Norwegians thrown in there too, for good measure. Sitting at about 24,000 people. So the city of Hastings had a spiral bridge. It actually twisted into a spiral about mid-river before it came back. Since then, there has been another bridge that has been removed since then. This bridge is the brand new one. The genesis of that was right after the Interstate 35 bridge collapsed in 2007. Ours was kind of the next oldest, and that accelerated the process of building a new bridge here in Hastings, which is what you see in front of you. All right, that was a big step. This is the Rotary Pavilion, which was fundraised by the Hastings Area Rotary Club. And I believe it was about $500,000 was fundraised, maybe a little bit more. There's been events here, there's been concerts. You can tell if my voice is echoing. Some of the acoustics are pretty good here. But we've had rallies here, we've had city performances, county performances, political things, arts, crafts, music, community events, all here at the Rotary Pavilion. Kind of a little amphitheater area. And again, Hastings Rotary Club. 2015, so about 8 years it's been here. Pretty impressive. We've had some pretty cool bands here. We've had Chicago, or at least the modern creation of the band Chicago was here. Starship was here just this fall. John Waite, Sarah Evans. We've had a few cover bands. There's an annual festival here called Rivertown Days. Lots of music, bands, activities here at the Rotary Pavilion. So kind of a cool thing. There's been some talk about why isn't there a dock here? Why can't you just take your watercraft and dock here in Hastings? There's been some debate over it, but I believe it's just not deep enough here. And the width of the river just doesn't make it conducive to a dock process. So you'd have a dock here and then people would come up and then go into town to shop or to eat or whatever. Just doesn't really work the way the river is bending here. So this was kind of cool. This was a creation when it was done about 8 years ago now. So you know where you are. We're in Hastings. Did some kind of fun artwork on here. Obviously there's indication that Minneapolis is upriver. Obviously St. Paul to the east, to the northeast of Hastings. Minneapolis to the northwest. So the Mississippi River, this is the big, I believe this is a remnant of, I don't know if it's the little bridge or if it's something that was used at the time. Back in apparently 1965, we had a huge flood here, and the water crested at right there, 25 feet 9 inches. More recently, in 2014, we were here. I was here as well. We had a flood that crested almost 19 feet, which would have been about there. So if you can see kind of where the river is, I have seen it where the water has kind of been up on this path, and you haven't been able to walk on this path. So all right, here's where this old bridge was. where it came in, right here. This is the American Legion, where you can sit out on the porch. You don't have to be a veteran, and you can sit out there and enjoy the warm weather when it's warm here, and it does get warm here. So this is the Hastings Bridge. This is Highway 61, State Highway 61, as it travels northbound about 20 miles into St. Paul, the eastern part of St. Paul. It is the largest of its kind in North America. So with those two arches across, and it's pretty amazing. They light it up at night, and then there's the river. Barges, lots of barge traffic, personal watercraft, so jet skis. Not too many I haven't seen too many sailboats, but I've definitely seen people with their own boats here. Not too many kayakers as well, but mostly small engine craft. So about a mile up the road here on the trail, Lock and Dam number 2. About another 5 miles up there, my family and I like to go out to Spring Lake Park, and I'll take you out there at some point. Spring Lake Park, lots of walking trails. There's a fun little event center out there. A lot of people have been married out there. It's right on the river. You go a little bit further, and there are bison. Dakota County actually added bison. I think we have about 15 bison now to Spring Lake Park. They're all cordoned off, so don't worry, you're not going to get trampled. But that's kind of a new development this year, to reintroduce some bison into the area. And then Prescott is in Wisconsin, and that is across the St. Croix River, which is a little bit complicated. Basically, you go over this bridge and then back that way a few miles across the St. Croix River, and that will get you into Wisconsin. So as the crow flies, we're about 5 to 10 miles away from Wisconsin border, western Wisconsin. Up until a few years ago, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays here in Minnesota. And you would just walk, not that I'd ever did this, but you would drive across the border and buy your alcohol over there for your Vikings games or whatever it might be. Here's some more modern art. I believe this is one of our favorite local artists who did the artwork back there a bit. That is Dale Lewis. I believe this is his. So Dale, I apologize if this is not yours, but I'm impressed. This is pretty cool. My good friends Jen and Bernardo have a restaurant right up there called Lock and Dam Eatery. And I'm sure we'll go along the main street, 2nd Street, some other time and give you a tour of 2nd Street and probably look at their restaurant. So now we're under this bridge. This whole bridge area was done just slightly after the structure of this bridge was created. So it's really kind of a hand-in-hand process. Really upgraded downtown quite a bit. We moved here about 21 years ago, and downtown was not in good shape. Now it's the hot, happening, hip place to be. Now this is an old factory that they've converted into a hotel, event center, and restaurant called the Confluence. Why is it called the Confluence, you ask? Well, we are at the confluence of these rivers as they come into this part of our state, the Mississippi and the St. Croix. And we will take you in there at some point as well. This is just recently opened. We are here in early November of 2023. Just within the last month or so, this has opened. Great food, great lodging, a lot of fun It's a big, amazing contribution to the Hastings community. All right, now there's your train. We talked about the train bridge. If you can see in the distance, and you can hear it, that's the train coming through. So it's the Vermilion River is the other river. So the confluence of three rivers, the Mississippi, the St. Croix, and the Vermilion River. And we'll definitely take a tour of the confluence. Okay, oh, here's a boat coming across right under the bridge. That's got to be a little bit cold today, I'm imagining. I hope they're bundled up. It's not too bad. I mean, I'm from Minnesota, so it's okay. It's not freezing. And again, this is all rebuilt. This is all redone. Very nicely done. They've done a lot of work to it. And you can see there, 2023. So this is all new, completely redone. It was an old, like a sprayer factory for things that, I guess, sprayed industrial things for a long time. And now it's a hotel, an event center, and popular restaurant. So thank you for coming along on my walk. I wanted to also introduce myself to people who don't know who I am. Tom Bullington. I am a realtor here in Hastings. I'm licensed both in Minnesota and Wisconsin, so I can help you anywhere east or west of the river. And just love it. I think the best part about being a realtor is especially helping the first timers, people that have not purchased a home before. I met with a couple last night, and they are very excited. They're about to be married, very excited to have their first place, start raising a family, and they want to choose my town of Hastings. So I'm very honored to have them as clients. There's the hotel. Why am I a realtor? Well, I hit 50 years old just over six and a half years ago. And I said, you know, that's enough. I'm not going to sit at a desk anymore. I'm not going to be a slave to my desk or to corporate America. I want to make a tangible impact in people's lives and do something that I enjoy. So here I am. You know, some nice places to sit along the river. Over there too, if you're familiar with the upper Midwest, when we have boats in the wintertime, because most people have kind of retired for the year as far as boat travel, you wrap your boats, then you store them. That's a storage location. One of our marinas, it's actually on the other side of the Mississippi, which is still Minnesota. Like I said, you would think, oh, the other side of the Mississippi would be Wisconsin. No, it's the way it moves in this part of the state. Wisconsin's down there on the other side of the St. Croix River, not the Mississippi. So this is all Minnesota. In the summertime, during Rivertown Days, our annual festival, this is a location for a craft fair. So along in here, what you'll have is craft booths. People park, obviously, but they'll have vendors out here crafting people. Anything from food to political candidates to artists, sculptors, people like that. People that make art out of beads and all sorts of things. Some really amazing talent out here you can see during Rivertown days. And that's typically in July. Our big concert that I was telling you about, Rivertown Live, is typically the first few weeks of September. And that's put on by the Rotary Club. So if you like live music in the outdoors, it's a great place to be. To give you an idea also, this is an older map, but it hasn't really changed all that much. This is where we are. Actually, we're about right here. Okay? So we're about right here. The Lock and Dam is up here. We're about here, kind of where we were downtown when we started out, is about right here. Police station, city hall, things like that. There's a small neighborhood area that's over here called Cowtown. Once you get over the tracks, this is Cowtown area. And then there's quite a bit of development. Basically, it all started right in here back in the 1850s, 1860s. And as things happened, it moved west. So you're looking at, you know, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and then beyond. And there's some newer development down here happening. So as it's pushed west, it's grown into a larger city. Again, St. Paul about 20 miles this way, Minneapolis about 30 miles that way. This is the Flint Hills Resources Riverfront Nature Preserve. Flint Hills is the local oil refinery, and they, as part of their company mission, they come out and they do things to help to preserve the environment. So thank you to Flint Hills for being out here. And a lot of this is part of that. And we'll kind of walk down there to show you that. I'm going to go around this way so these folks over here unloading a boat don't have to be in my video. Just kind of see what they're doing. You can put in your boat over here. There's a place that you put your boat in, back your boat into there, right into the river. Not a whole lot of folks out here today, but there are a few. Being in the 50s in early November, it's a pretty nice situation. We had a skiff of snow, just a little touch of snow last week. Just enough to have a little bit of snow. Here we go. Again, we're back on the trail. I'm going to show you the Lock and Dam here to give you perspective. Downtown where we started, about right here. The bridge through those trees over there. You can kind of make out the arches through there, and then there's downtown right there. Hastings is also one of those towns that you'll see a lot of the same names. And I really think the reason for that is it's just a great place to be. It's It's close enough to the cities, the big metropolitan area, but yet far enough where you're not dealing with a lot of some of the issues that happen in big cities. The overpopulation, the crowding, the traffic. We just don't have that here. So generations stay. All right, now this is the part of the old bridge, a small part of it. It was called Old Blue, somewhere along the way, the old Mississippi River Highway Bridge, the second bridge to go across the Mississippi here in Hastings. Like I said, came down about 8 years ago or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. And there's some talk about maybe doing something with this, but for now, it sits right here. So, more to come on that. But definitely, Hastings is one of those communities where people are raised, people are born, people are raised, and they stay here. They have kids, go into the school system, attend church here. It's a very family-oriented town. Again, European Americans such as myself are not the first people to be here. Hundreds of years, as maybe even thousands of years ago, Native Americans were here. And the Dakota and the Ojibwe were here. So as early as 1837, 1851. So Hastings has been here since the 1850s because of these treaties with the Native Americans, which you can use your own judgment on that, whether or not those were fair at the time. But that's how we got here. There are reservations around the community. The Prairie Island Indian community, which is what they prefer to be called, is just down the road south on Highway 316. Where there is a large casino called Treasure Island. A lot of actually good entertainment comes there. We've had a lot of big names come to Treasure Island to perform. So that is an attraction for Hastings that a lot of folks in Hastings, I don't think, appreciate as much. I'd say that's about a 15 to 20 minute drive down Highway 316. So we do have a Native American reservation with a large casino, hotel, really good restaurants, bowling alley, amphitheater entertainment, all sorts of stuff going on down there at Treasure Island. So again, a nice long walk. You see a lot of people walking, jogging, running, biking, skateboarding along the way. Talking about some of the pollution issues that we've had in the past. Just up the river in South St. Paul, a huge amount of pollution put into the river from the stockyards at that time in the late 1880s till the 1960s. Much of that has ceased. Okay, locking down number 2, the Upper Mississippi River 9-foot channel navigation project, St. Paul District. This is built, rehabbed back in 1995. So this is locking dam number 2. as we mentioned, kind of cool. Kind of a boring day today. Oh, the swans are just over that wall. Can't really see them that well. But I can't get over there. So, anyway. So again, just the way these hillsides are really carved by the river, by the flow over the millennia, basically. And then there's Hastings, right? That's where we were, under that bridge. And we've come all the way from there all the way to here. And the gentlemen are out fishing. So kind of a cool deal. And then these are the walls that open up when you have something come through the lock. It goes in there. They open those up, close them, comes in here, and then they let him out this way. And then they go down river. Lots of barges, lots of grain, lots of things on shipping containers come through here. Okay, there's the swans. So there you have it. We're gonna shut it off right now, and then when we get back to town, we'll do a little summary. Well, that was today's riverfront tour of Hastings, Minnesota, down at Levy Park, all the way to Lock and Dam number 2. We started out at Art Space, which is a apartment complex, an apartment building and artist loft area for aspiring artists. They live in this location over here, and it is a great opportunity to see the arts, to be part of the arts, and then to live among artists in Hastings. So we're going to do a special video on Art Space, but I wanted to at least mention that Hastings has really been a artist mecca for the last 10 to 15 years, and continuing in that tradition with the music by the river, with all of the great things that the high school is doing with show choir, national titles, band, orchestra, all sorts of athletic accomplishments. Hastings is just a great school system and a great community. So hope you enjoyed my little tour today. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call anytime or a text, 651-402-6356, on the web at tombullingtonhomes.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.